I've been asked as a landscape gardener to show you a shoot. And so we've come out into our woods, and bearing in mind it is January here in Georgia, and I hope you can pick up on the... I think this might be take number
unwanted
one.
Intruder.
On the kiss of the dog. I've been asked as a landscape gardener to show you what a shoot is, and so we are out in our woods in January in Georgia, and I hope you can pick up on the green color of this. This is a shoot springing from this old tree which we cut down. The shoot is coming from the same roots as the original tree. The shoot can include the stem, leaves, and blossom if it were a flowering shrub or something like that. But it is definitely a shoot.
Yes, the point of the illustration here is that in the Bible Jesus is said to be the shoot arising from the stem of Jesse. The Hebrew and Greek words are used in a different sense than we use them in English, and some translations then don't help to explain that. But this shoot comes obviously out of this trunk. And Jesus then, being the descendant of David, comes from the trunk of David, or the trunk of David's father, Jesse. That's quite clear. He's not a predecessor to his own ancestor. That's just nonsense. He's the shoot that comes from the original trunk or stem of Jesse and the family of David.
So it's perfectly reasonable to say that Jesus is the offspring of David.
Yes.
He is the shoot of David,
Yes.
That's
right.
and if understood in the proper sense, he's the root of David. He's the shoot and descendant of David.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's a total misunderstanding of the example, and a total misunderstanding of the point of the scriptures.
Yes.
When we try to say, well, Jesus is what Jesse sprang from, or Jesus is what David sprang from.
Yes.
Not the point at all.
Not the point.
The author is in Revelation and other passages. They're saying that this is a shoot. This is a root that springs forth, if you will, from Jesse, from David.
That's right.
When we just thought it was all over, we have this new plant coming up,
new life.
Yeah.
New life
Wonderful.
springing from endless. I mean, nothing will stop that thing producing new life. Every new life, every tree does it.
And so, of course, here we're talking about kingship and the role of Christ, the Messiah, as the anointed king, who springs from Jesse and from David.
That's right.
Yeah. But Jesse and David don't spring from Messiah. Messiah springs from them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. There's a language problem. So if one looks at it in the commentaries and the lexicons, you'll see that the Hebrews are using the word root in a rather different sense from us.
Sure.
The root, precedes. But in the Hebrew way of thinking, shoots and roots appear to be used in the same sense. That's confusing in our English, but not confusing in the way that they're using it. So Jesus is then the shoot and root from David and from Jesse.
And what we normally would expect in a plant is that a plant actually springs from a seed.
Yes, that's true.
And roots, shoots, everything springs from that seed.
Yes.
But what we're learning here is, by this analogy, is that even from a previously existing plant, even one that's no longer fulfilling its role as a plant, is here. Yes. A new plant can spring forth from the root, or it can spring forth from
the root. And is of a shoot. Yes.
Surely.
Yeah, it's worth examining though carefully in the lexicons and look at the Septuagint version to see how they deal with this word. But there's a potential for confusion here and creating the false idea that Jesus is older than his own ancestor.
Yeah.
It refuses to die, isn't that wonderful?
It is wonderful.
As long as there is life in the original parent here, new life arises.
And isn't that the point of the prophecy in essence, that even though Jesse is moved off the scene, David is no longer on the scene? We'd think all that's over, but no, there is a new shoot, a new plant that's going to grow right out of the roots here.
The same analogy is used of Israel in Isaiah, where you have the tree is cut down.
Right.
But that doesn't kill it.
Yes.
Because new life, new shoots come from that original stump.
Yes.
And that's Israel revived.
Yes. Continuation of the line.
Yes.
Continuation of the same line.
Wonderful.
All in a shoot.
Surely.
Yeah. That is beautiful. I love the green of that.
It's awfully abundantly too creative to try to take that to somehow imply, well, the Messiah is is the that from which Jesse springs,
Oh, yes.
or that from which David springs. Not at all.
Jews never understood it that way.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Nobody thought that an ancestor could be the same as a descendant. I mean, that's really an incoherent
right.
idea.
That's exactly
The
right.
Messiah has to be the descendant of David, not David's ancestor.
Yeah.
That's just nonsense.
Not true at all. Not in any sense. No
incoherent.
verse says that. And this should not be construed to somehow mean that, supposedly. It doesn't at all. Yeah.
That confusion is very similar to that wonderful book entitled Eats, Shoots, and Leaves.
Yes.
And you don't know from context or lack of punctuation whether someone eats, shoots, and leaves, or whether, in fact, a panda eats, shoots, and leaves.
The potential ambiguity of language that must be explained,
Yes,
must
yes,
be
yes.
clarified.
Yes, yes.
That's all it is.
Barbara, thank you very much for giving us a little lesson in plant, again, that speaks to us in the Scriptures. I like that. That's very good.